This video is about fraction multiplication number sense and goes along with CPM Chapter 5, Section 2.2 for 6th grade. The big idea with this is, can we look at a fraction and make sense of if a number that you multiply by is going to get larger, or if it's going to get smaller, or stay the same, and how that's going to change. So let's look at a couple problems. The first problem. Stephen and Aaron each have a budget of $150 for their model cars. Stephen spent 3/5 of his budget, and Aaron spent 4/3 of her budget. Does either person have money left in their budget? If so, how much remains? Before you even solve it, I want you to think, based upon their fractions, are they going to have more than $150, less than $150, or $150 that they have spent? Because you know they have $150 to spend. Is that how much they've actually spent? Once you think about that, go ahead and pause the video, try to solve the problem, and remember we've been talking about fraction multiplication, and see how that might help you. So the first thing that I did is I looked at their numbers, and I wrote down their names, and I said, what is their fraction in relationship to 1? And for Stephen, he spent 3/5, and I know that 3/5 is less than 1, so I know that he spent under $150, so he still has money left that he can spend. Aaron, on the other hand, spent 4/3 of her money, and we know that that is greater than 1, so we know that she spent more than $150. So she's going to need to find another way to make up that difference. Now let's figure out how much each person has spent, and then we can see how much remains of Stephen's and how much over Aaron went. Now for Stephen, I'm looking for 3/5 of $150, and I'm going to do that as a fraction, remembering that of means to multiply, and I'm going to take a shortcut, and I'm actually going to cross simplify and say that I know 5 goes into 5 once, and I know that 5 goes into 150 30 times. And then I can multiply. 3 times 30 gives you 90, and 90 over 1 simplifies to 90. So we know that Stephen spent $90. If he has $150 total that he can spend, and he's only spent 90, we can do 150 minus 90, and we can see that he has $60 remaining. You can use that same strategy to figure out how much Aaron has spent and how much she needs to earn. Go ahead and pause the video and solve for Aaron's money if you have not done that already. When I solved Aaron's the same way, again, cross-simplified, and so I have 4 times 50, which gives you 200 over 1, which means that she spent $200. And then I had my 250, $150, spent $200, and then we see that she needs $50 more to pay for what she's already spent. So you can see in the blue and in the red here how I looked at it to see, okay, is this going to be less than $150, equal to $150, or more than $150? And we're going to use that idea in the next part of this lesson. Let's use that information as we're solving this problem. Rob is putting together pictures in the school yearbook and was provided ratios to enlarge or reduce the pictures. Sort the following ratios into the correct category. And we have 5 categories. We have much smaller, slightly smaller, stays the same, slightly larger, and much larger. And you're going to take each of these ratios and then sort them into the appropriate category. Go ahead and pause the video and go ahead and try it. Pay attention to the relationship between the numerator and the denominator. Okay, and here's how I sorted each of them. As I said, much smaller is 1/9 and 2/11. I said slightly smaller is 5/6 and 7/8. 4/4 and 19/19 stay the same. I put 8/5 as slightly larger. You could argue that it should go into much larger, but in relationship with the other ratios that I gave you, I'm going to put it into the slightly larger category. And then I have 15/2 as much larger. Okay, what I did here is I'm saying that staying the same, that's a 1-to-1 ratio. Okay, that means that it is exactly the same thing. When I simplify it, that number simplifies to 1. Okay, and then when I look at the other numbers, it is either a little bit less than 1 or significantly less than 1. Or on the larger side, it's a little bit larger than 1 or it's significantly larger than 1. And that's how I sorted through these numbers. Okay, so as you look through this lesson, make sure that you're looking at the relationship between those ratios and what you're starting with in this case the picture, and what you're going to end with.